Hello world, welcome to the Hzrd Podcast, episode number 1. My name is Alex Sherrill. Let me get right into this. I want to start out with my why behind doing this podcast. I believe that having a true and powerful why behind your actions make them all the more impactful and the more likely that you're going to continue them over a long period of time. I'm not about doing things for no reason, and I've waited to do a podcast till I had in my mind a clear why. This has been something that has been in my pipeline a little bit for a while, and I finally have clear vision as to what my why is. To put it simply, I'm here to grow. I'm here to share my thoughts and my ideas, the way I see things. Talk about some mindset, talk about music, talk about media and current events. And we're just going to talk about life, what I've learned, what I can learn from other people, and all in an effort of growth. I'm going to keep this kind of open-ended at this point. Eventually we'll have guests on. I like to talk, so why not do a podcast? A lot of sharing is confidence and dealing with some others and what they might think. This is something that I've been working on, honestly. In this social media age, everyone seems to be sort of posturing in a way. What they put on Instagram, what they put on Facebook is often their best times in the sunniest places with their best friends. This podcast, as I said, is about growth and showing others that all you have to do is just take action. I've not taken action on a variety of things in my life, and it's time that this stops. I'm putting forward my best effort and my work into the world through this podcast, through Hzrd as a whole. I believe deeply in my bones that I'm not just another guy. I've been sort of introduced to this mindset of treating your life as a video game, where you're the main character and you can control everything that happens in your life. Why would I sit around for the rest of my life and do things that don't bring me joy, don't bring me happiness? I'm the one who's going to continue to fight and show up and work and prepare and grow while others continue to sit around. There's time for that. Absolutely. It's time to unwind. But too much of it is just not good. I want to dive into my personal philosophy a little bit. As I mentioned, I'm on a growth first mindset. Reading, writing, researching, conversation. The more information that you can consume, the more positive information that you can consume, the more useful information that you can consume, the better that you can be. We have the internet at our fingertips. The ability to look anything up at any moment in 10 seconds and have an answer is absolutely incredible to me. Why would I not use that? Why would you not use that? Use it as a valuable resource to make yourself better. The more you can soak in through reading books, articles, essays, research papers, journals, the more you can pull into your knowledge and in your little wheelhouse. And in order to unlock some of your own thoughts, start to write. The more writing I do, the more clearly I can see how I think. Let me say that again. The more I write, the more clearly I can see how I think. I can deep dive into myself and see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Because when you read it back, especially if you read something back 2, 3, 4 weeks later, and you said, what am I thinking? That is a sign of growth when you can look back at yourself just a month earlier and cringe. I'm taking as a mantra, I'm big on mantras and speaking into existence things. What did I do today that made me better than yesterday? If I can lay in my bed at night and name things that I did today that made me better than I was yesterday, then it's been a good day. Some days you're going to get more done than others. Some days you'll get less. But what can you do today that makes you better than you were yesterday? I believe that education never should stop. Goes on with the reading and writing. From a college student, graduated last year in 2020, I'll always like to learn things on my own, often more so than the curriculum in the classroom. I studied media and communications and business. Pretty general, but it has definitely shaped the way that I look at the world and how people operate. I'm absolutely fascinated with people. Sociology, psychology, how they work, why they do things, what makes people tick. I continue my education each and every single day to where I am now. I read every day, I write every day on a variety of topics. Existentialism, business, marketing, finance, writing, memoirs. You can learn a lot from other people's stories and experiences. You can learn a tremendous amount from high achievers. And once you realize, and once you start to put the work in for yourself, you realize how difficult it is for everyone who has achieved success, how difficult it is for them to get there. Once you start putting in the work, then you realize. From an outsider's perspective, you don't understand. It's the little things, man. Talk about some of my overall life concepts. This concept that it means very near and dear to my heart. That is PRS, stands for Positivity, Resilience, and Support. Break it down as a concept first. In terms of positivity, you can choose the way that you look at the world. You can choose whether or not you look at it in a positive light or a negative light. Life happens, things happen, no matter what. And it's up to you to figure out how you're going to respond to that. Now, absolutely I struggle with this because I'm human. But being able to reframe everything into a positive light, no matter how difficult it is, you can always find a bright side. You can always learn. You can always find out what lesson that you're taking from a bad event. And you can turn it into something positive by learning. From a tragedy, a mistake, a slip up. Every mistake you can reframe and say, what did I learn? Instead of, oh man, what the hell? You can do that, but make sure you learn from it too. On to resilience. You have to have a tough chin in life. Life's going to keep punching you in the face. It's going to keep knocking you down. And it's up to you to keep coming back for more. Absolutely, I'm influenced by my family and my friends. They're strong, they're tough, they're resilient people. And it's made me strong, tough, and resilient. On to support, which is the S in PRS. This is about finding your people. This is about finding people who will be there in your darkest times. There are times where you still will be alone. However, there will also be times where you need others. You can't do it alone. Who's going to be there when it really matters? Who's going to push you? Who's going to sit there and help discuss with you hugely deep and difficult topics and ideas, all in the name of growth and future thinking? I originally developed the concept of PRS after a reflection of an immensely difficult time in my life. Almost 4 years ago now, August of 2017, I had my colon removed due to complications from ulcerative colitis. I was diagnosed in July of 2017. And just 20 days later, my colon was removed. Overall, between August of 2017 and October of 2018, I spent 52 total days in the hospital. And PRS is the memoir, essentially, of that period of my life. As I said, I had my colon removed. It was a change of reality from being just a normal college kid on summer, working, hanging out, messing around in the sun, shooting hoops. And I just started to felt not okay in my bowels, in my stomach. And eventually, I went to see a doctor, got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. August, I believe it was 3rd, 2017, went into the ER with just absolutely terrible stomach pains. And just a couple weeks later, due to those complications from toxic megacolon, where your colon becomes infected and it just starts swelling and swelling and swelling. And obviously a rupture is not ideal, so they had to remove it completely, a total colectomy. I learned a lot from just sitting in the hospital and the grind of coming back and the absolute resolute belief that I was going to be okay, and that was the positivity. It didn't matter. Not once did it ever cross my mind that I might have died. But in talking to the doctor, they said that they weren't comfortable with keeping me through the night. They operated to remove it at around 8:30 p.m. So I look at it as I was within a day or so of death. I was extremely, extremely sick. And my family and my friends were there to support me. My parents were there next to my bed every single day I was in the hospital. I talk about positivity, resilience, and support in the entire story in a book that I released last August on the 3-year anniversary of that surgery, August 16th. And the whole idea behind it is, if it only impacts one person, then it will be a success. And I hope that speaking out and telling my story last year and then continuing it in little segments like this, and I hope that I can make an impact, set an example for people in their darkest moments to know that you can come back and you will be okay. On to the cyber framework. 5 quick little words and concepts that I try to adhere to in terms of growth and the way I do things. Consistency. What you do daily will determine your future. Improvement. This is along the same vein as growth. You're always looking for ways to optimize and improve how you do things. Just because you do it one way doesn't mean you can't make it just a little bit better. On to balance. That is the B. I believe that the eventual goal down the road, 10, 20 years from now, balance will be the true goal for life. Now, as a young person, for all young people, it should be more skewed towards work. You are building the foundation of the rest of your life. And if you fuck around now, you will be behind from the people who have been putting in the work early. Be the hardest worker in the room now so you can be balanced down the road. Balance within that, I believe that the ideal life is in moderation. Certainly, I've drank too much, but the ideal is moderation. Same goes with anything. When you're in the moment, you're all in. But you have to regulate the time within that in order to be truly balanced. In terms of E, we're going to go on to efficiency. Efficiency is essentially, it's along with improvement. How can I make things more efficient? How can I combine speed and quality in the best way to achieve a high quality body of work while also doing so in a streamlined and systemized fashion? The R is right. Just do things the right way. Consistency, improvement, balance, efficiency, and right. In order to sort of motivate myself along the way, I simply just say ATP, attack the process. What's next? Keep them coming. As you might notice, all of this stuff is sort of built off of each other. The way you look at the world, it's knowing that life will be tough, and it's finding people who will help you. It's about doing it every single day. You're looking for little ways to improve and become better. You're working towards balance, and you're doing it the right way. And if you continue to do that, if I continue to do that, I truly believe we're all going to make it. That's the way I look at it. Why not? Why not do this podcast? I like to take photos. I have a Instagram page, Hzrd Photo. Just post a picture every day. Who knows if we will up the frequency eventually, probably. I like to DJ. I love music. So I have a DJ controller and I DJ. I'm doing things that I like to do in an effort to be happy, to grow, to do what I love. And I think truly that is one of the core things you should be looking at life, honestly, is happiness and just trying to be your best self. In each one of these Hzrd podcasts, I'm going to be talking about a specific concept. And today is going to be vision. To truly find your vision and achieve your vision, you gotta take action first. And it seems sort of backwards, is that you're not going to sit around and just magically have good shit happen to you. You have to put forth effort. You have to give. You have to take action. Now, I'm someone who has learned this from experience, obviously. Just sitting around in a hospital bed, you're not going to get any better. But as soon as you get up, which is one of the hardest things I've ever done, getting up at the hospital bed after that surgery. Once you get up and once you take that action, things start to roll. You're gaining experience, you're gaining wisdom, you're gaining strength. You're living life. And this, once you start to just experience and figure out what you like and what you don't like, what works and what doesn't work, that's when you start to have vision and say, yo, this is how I want to do things. This is how I want my life to go. And with this new experience and wisdom, you can become to be more introspective. As I said, you continue to look inside and say, what do I want? I tried this. I like this. This is fun. I can make a little bit of money off of it. How can I continue? How can I make that an important part of my life? This stuff as simple as writing. I like to write. I love to write, actually. Got my notebook right next to me. It's filled with just all sorts of insanity. About my personal life, about my public life, about my business, everything. And then when you can read that back and say, I wrote that 2 weeks ago. That doesn't really, I don't know if I can understand that. I still don't know if I believe that. I mentioned that earlier. When you can look back at stuff that you wrote or posted or pictures of yourself from just a couple months ago, you can say, oh, if you're cringing, man, you're growing. I don't think that vision is absolute. I think that it can slightly change as you go. As you continue to become introspective and really dive deep into yourself, you figure out the patterns that you can follow and the patterns you already do follow. You can figure out what works, what routines, what habits will flow into each other. You're just kind of optimizing your life. You're improving your life. You're making your life more efficient. And this is not an easy process by any means. You're going to have traumas, you're going to have transgressions, you're going to have issues, you're going to have all sorts of just bad shit happen to you. In personal relationships, in business relationships, in life. It's not about the destination. This is about the journey. It's about taking all these and just gaining experience and gaining strength and just becoming a little bit better. This is really what for so long I've overcomplicated my life and overcomplicated everything. When it's simple as you're just looking for little ways to get better. And if you're not like that, man, I'm sorry, because the way that you look at life, in my view, a mostly positive perspective, and that goes with everything. I'm an optimist in every sense of the word. Possibly even in a naive sort of way. But I really believe that in their core, at the individual level, every person is good. And that many of the evil things that people do are due to insecurities and selfishness, They do things out of natural instinct. Humans are essentially animals. You might be asking yourself, what do I work on, man? Like I said, do what feels right. Do what you like to do. If it's writing, then write. If it's lifting, then lift. If you like to get on the phone and sell people things, sell. If you like to be in nature and around animals, go be around animals. Something is better than nothing. There are too many times in my life where I've escaped video games, even music in a way, as a way to switch off the brain. There are times for that. There's nothing better than beating one of your friends in FIFA. However, it's also pretty awesome to go out and play. You're engaging your brain. You're doing something. And let's go back to writing. You're writing something. Something is better than nothing, even if it's the wrong thing. And you might think, might start working on a project and you think, man, this feels really important. And then down the road you think, man, it really wasn't that important. And that's how you adjust. And that's how you find the patterns. And that's how you find the vision. Every single moment, you're getting feedback from the outside world. From yourself, from others, from the world, from media, from the wind, from your senses. Take it and use it in a positive and constructive way. It circles back to positivity again. You're in traffic. Somebody cuts you off. Man, I know better than anyone. There are times where I do and where I have freaked out. But man, it's not that difficult to slow down 5 miles an hour and just be like, maybe they didn't see me. It's okay. That happened. They went into the lane in front of you. Don't let it ruin your day. One last thing. Simply adapt or die. Change is a constant in the world. Change in relationships, change in circumstances, situational change. There's always something a little bit different. And as your vision keeps molding and becoming more and more in focus, you have to keep adapting and making adjustments to your process, to your mindset. Little changes made from places of being informed, where you're read up on whatever decision you have to make, or ready to make a change. You realize it and you just have to do it. Life is about handling situations and rolling with the punches. This has been the Hzrd Podcast. I am your host, Alex Sherrill. I gotta say, recording this has been much easier than I thought it would. And I'm very excited to be sharing this with the world. Like I said in the past, earlier in this, consistency is something that I'm very focused on. And I've been very inconsistent in my life. But as I've been saying to myself, give me a few years. We're gonna build a body of work. We're gonna put out my thoughts and my ideas, and I'm gonna keep coming over and over and over and over again. We're gonna keep it coming. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep scratching. Man, this is still just the beginning. I am 24 years old. Hopefully, man, I have 60 years left of my life. Who knows? I'm living, I'm learning, I'm growing. I hope you have just the most fantastic day. I love you, everyone, and I appreciate you listening. Have a great one.